Welcome into another episode from the Critics Collective on the Dad Panther, and we are going to unpack season 9, Love is Blind, episode 12. Man, if this is the first time you've been here as far as on this ride of season 9, let me just kind of give you the story of it. I jumped in on season 9. Haven't watched any other reality show for a while. Haven't watched any previous episodes or seasons of the show. Didn't watch the incarnations that are in different countries of the show. Didn't know anything about how the show works. Apparently, you get men and women to sit in a room where they can't see each other. They can only hear each other's voices. They take notes and speed date, and then eventually choose the one that they want to propose and see if that works. And for the ones that are engaged, they get a chance to go to another country, kind of like a honeymoon thing. You get to see your exes or possible exes as you're able to meet other people at these functions that are planned on purpose. Then you get to live with the person for a little bit. And at some time between 7 and 10 weeks, you have the choice of marrying this person and then doing a reunion. So that's how that works. And if you understand that, then you should understand you need to hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. Now, we did do some of these episodes towards the end live. So if you want more detail or what I was feeling right then and there, or you want to be in sync and watch with us on the Critics Couch, you can just go ahead and check out those episodes. I try my best to kind of let you know where I'm at in the episode. That way you can watch along with me. And in the comments, you can kind of put your reaction, what you were thinking. So for Love is Blind, I'm going to go through each couple and then we'll rate the episode. We still have the reunion that's on the 29th of October at 9. Don't know if I'm going to live stream that one, but let me know in the comments. What am I going to say? 100 likes. I feel like I would be forced to 100 likes or 100 comments, or adding the likes and the comments together to get 100. Then I'll have to move the earth, the moon, and the sea, which earth is on the sea and the whatever, point blank. So let's start with the first couple. And because they weren't really the focus point of this episode, Joe and Madison, they weren't shown at all in this episode for reasons that make sense. Joe already had broken it off with Madison, and you can check my previous episode if you're curious on more detail of that or how I felt. But that's how that happened. They weren't shown. You have Nick and Annie. You didn't see them as well. Same thing. Annie leaves towards the end. I feel like she kind of ended that herself, not allowing Nick to figure out if that's what he wanted to do. And point blank, they don't walk down the aisle. And then you have the three that really going with that one. So we'll go with Megan and Jordan. So Jordan and Megan talk. Megan wakes up 3-4 o'clock in the morning and she's like, I just think we're two separate people. Some people say opposites attract. She doesn't believe that. Jordan says, yes, I believe that can work. I think yeah, we're different, but we can make it work. Jordan is a picky eater. She likes to try new foods. Jordan's more laid back. She likes to travel and go around. Jordan doesn't have money and is restricted to work his job, which he kind of says kind of tethers him as well as his son respectfully. And she has, over the last 6 years, has built herself up where she can travel and she does have money and she wants to travel and enjoy life and do those things. And also the conversation of kids. Is she ready to be a stepmother? Is she ready to be a mother of her own kids? They don't talk about that much, but I feel like the kid thing was a very significant thing. And I said that early on in my watch through for that. But Megan is the one that says it's over. We're not going to do this. It felt more genuine of the goodbye. Jordan cried. I don't think he was okay with it, but I don't think he was also shocked that it happened. But I felt like it was better on the closure and ending than what we saw for sure with Nick and Annie, and for sure what we saw with Joe and Madison. Although I was curious because I felt like the Joe and Madison and the Nick and Annie, there was some pre-production thing because it didn't feel as genuine. It felt like they made the decision and they were supposed to go and act it out. At least that's how I felt for the Joe one. For the Megan one, it felt a little weird because she's wearing gray on the couch, but then she switches to wearing black and her purse in the back. Nothing changed in the background for that conversation they had before. So I don't know if she cuts that, gets a few minutes, changes clothes, and then she's supposed to do the episode. And I only say that because I've been on a reality show, and it's a different a flow for sure. It's very interesting at that. And then we have Tony and Allie. For that one, you had Tony was like, "Hey, I'm all in. I'm all in." He told the mom. His mom told Allie's mom and Allie's party. He's all in. And before on the streaming one, you can see me kind of guess and tell you what I thought was going to happen before it happened. But at the end of it, Tony is left at the altar. Allie says no, she can't marry him. She had a very stone look the whole time. It didn't seem like she was really enjoying the moment. She needed to hit her mark. It made me wonder if the producers are saying, "Hey, look, you have to wear the dress and you have to get out there and then give your verdict." Um, so that's what that kind of felt like. So that was the end of that. Tony was there, and it was a rough situation. He stood there for a while, and he was alone. They really focused him being alone, and that was the first of many in this series where it just didn't work. Whether they didn't make it to the engagement, um, or they didn't walk down the aisle and say "I do." And then you finish the episode with KB and Ed. They saved that for last because I think a lot of us felt like the other ones were a no, and this one was a yes based off of what KB was going to say. We knew Edmund was all in, which he was. We did see some things from Edmund that just continue to reinforce his upbringing and his background and who he is as a person. And we're also able to see that his mom did make the travel. It's the second person to kind of not, it looks like, not approve their joining of marriage, if I'm saying that correctly, because Allie sister showed up and said, "I don't approve of this," and they still went through it, which you didn't see her at the end for Allie, which is interesting. It would have been interesting to bring her back in after she was really the only one to say she doesn't approve it. And also it was funny because there was a moment I can't remember that I said during the live when they did say no. I think it's going to go viral. It reminded me of that gum commercial. You lint liquor, you little lint liquor. Anywho, KB was strong the whole time. And it was a moment when she gets out of the vehicle and she gets a little weak. And I'm like, I felt like that was it right there. And she says no, and she leaves Edmund up there. And she doesn't just leave Edmund up there. Allie left Tony up there. Edmund was let down up there. And I don't want to say let down like, KB did something wrong. What I mean is Allie just left. She said, no, I can't. She even said something that made him seem small or nothing, in my opinion. Like, "You're not the man that I knew on the pods. You're different. How you eat and you go out and all, it just lists all this stuff and then just walks out. That's it. He doesn't get a chance to defend himself. He doesn't think he sees it coming. And so to me, that's completely different versus KB gets up there and says no, and you can see her lip crumble and crack. I think she's trying to get herself together to say the word, and her face shows it. And I think you can look, because the camera was behind her, you can see her head kind of shake a little bit. Edmund sees that, and he just goes, "No," but she doesn't confirm it yet. He just sees it, And she does say the words that, "No, I can't. I'm not the right person for you." I think she says something like, "You need someone who's 100% together in their life, and I'm not 100% together." And I felt like if there's any time that she has said something that wasn't for her, it was like projecting. When you get someone who cheats, so like, "You're probably out there cheating right now because that's all it takes is just a second to cheat on your phone." Probably because they're cheating on a second on the phone. When she said, "You need someone 100%," I think she needs someone who's 100%, and he's not just there yet. That's just my belief, because is anyone perfect? No. But I believe a lot of people would say that KB was more put together than Edmund at this point in their life. But the thing that I'm saying that's different from Allie is she held his hands and she hugged him and she embraced him. And there was moments where he would cry and be like, "Damn, I can't believe you're doing this to me." And, "Wow, but you look gorgeous. You look so gorgeous. But wow, how are you gonna do this? Wow, you look gorgeous. Oh man." Like, and you can see Tony, when Tony was a no, there was a few people that were shocked, because again, a lot of us believe that that was a couple that was going to go. They might not go the distance, but they were going to say "I do." to the point there was a little girl crying in the background on that one. On this one, Edmonds, everybody was crying. It was a completely different empathetic thing, because when you watch a movie where you have a runaway bride, like a rom com or a drama or something like that, a lot of times it's more or less like Allie and Tony's situation, in my opinion, where it's you pick a side, one or the other, and somebody leaves and it's divided like that. This was everyone collectively was like, oh my gosh. And they switched to being empathetic towards um, Edmund. And KB continued that by speaking into him, like, you know, you're a healer and this, and I love you as a person. And this has nothing to do with you. Your love, you're this, and just talking all this positive stuff that she's been doing the whole time. And I just thought it was a very good way to get closure and say goodbye, because a lot of people don't get that chance. And yeah, that's it. Now the reunion's coming up. Like I said, the end of the month, you have the reunion. I'll come back and rate the whole season, not just this episode. So we're going to go ahead and rate this one. We rate from a 0 to a 5, 5 being excellent, 0 being not a good episode. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just going to rate this one. Man, I was going to rate this one a 4 for good, but because I can't remember what I did in the live, I was genuinely shocked by both. And I sat there and it was good TV, and I can't believe I'm sitting there watching it. So I'm going to say it was a 5. It was excellent. I don't know if it's the first 5. Let me know in the comments. I don't know if it's the first 5 that I put for the series, but it was a 5. It did what it had to do. It was entertaining. I wish the show would have led with the other couples that weren't there. Not to say they needed to be there at the ceremony, but if the other couples were put in there, I think it would have helped some of the spacing or timing, because by the time you get through the Tony situation, you look at the clock and it doesn't look good because it was less time than the Tony one. So I felt like, I don't know, but with that being said, it would be a 5. Now with the reunion coming up, and I'm sure they're going to bring back other cast members and find out what's going on with each person, as this was recorded spring 2024. I think Netflix should. I know they did NDA, but with social media, people are finding out about their personal life, and I did a really good job to not be spoiled and see stuff. But I think they need to do something else. Put out half the season and then drop the other half of the season, and record other couples and sprinkle those couples in between. Like, you know, here's your main couple, episode 1, and then here's the secondary backed up, episode 2, and keep alternating back and forth. So you kind of have some more storylines to stick to, because I think that's really what it is. It's the storylines that we're getting connected to. At least I am. Other than that, I like to hope everybody has their personal brand set up. Hit the subscribe button, like, follow for more. We really appreciate that. But their own personal brand. The reason why I say that is Megan Sparkle, like that's a brand. Megan, I could see her, not Megan, Madison, I can see her with a brand. Kate B, for sure, I can see her with a brand. So there's a lot of them where I felt like they could have come up with a brand and done something. Jordan seems like a person that I could see him with a brand. Just seems like a guy that I feel like a lot of people want to know what his story is, and that's it. But could have been anywhere in the world, and he chose to be here. I appreciate you. Until next time, Daddy loves you.